I have a friend and he's super polite. He's super polite, this guy. Like this guy could be the president. He's one of my best friends. What a great guy. Everybody loves this fucking guy. He's the greatest guy in the world potentially. But he does this thing when he gets the waiter's attention that's funny. And he's a big guy, so it makes it even funnier. But he does this thing where he like raises his hand delicately to try to get their attention. He goes, bro, it's the craziest fucking thing in the world. The little hand. And I'm like, bro, the little hand. And he's 6'5", this guy, bro. 6'5", 220 probably. Insane.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Giulio Gallerati, joined by old Lynchy Pie, Ryan Lynch.
Hi.
What's happening?
Doing all right.
That's
Doing all
great.
right.
Glad
I
to
always
hear it.
do. You judge me for sitting crisscross applesauce on your couch sometimes?
No, I would only judge you for calling it crisscross applesauce.
I don't know what else to call it.
The actual seating itself, I'm impressed by. I wish I had such open hips.
Thank you.
But guys, big weekend. Thanks to everybody who bought tickets for the show tomorrow night in Chicago at the Den Theater. I don't think there are any tickets left, but if there are, and you haven't gone on it yet, you've been sleeping under a rock.
You should get them.
See if there's anything left. There might be a couple of stragglers, but I don't think that there are. We're recording this a little bit in advance since we have a big week, obviously, this week. So look forward to seeing all you guys there. Should be a good one. And here we are, dude.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that toy that you just got
The
recently?
push game?
Yeah.
Do you guys know about this?
I saw this on TikTok.
This is not an ad,
found
by
it?
the way.
No, not at all.
So I originally found it. If you guys play this game, you know this sound. And I found it at my cousin's house for Christmas. Her 6-year-old kid has it. And you basically push these buttons in. It makes a really obnoxious noise while you're actually playing it. And Hill Dog hated it.
You do one close to the mic. Let him really know what Hillary. This is what Hillary hears.
So, but to preface, like when we went over there, she had never heard this before, and she told me to stop while we were there. Okay, so she told me to stop playing while we were there, and I saw it pop up on TikTok, and I was like, oh, I have to buy this, obviously. And she came home and just started hearing this. And she was like, no! Dude, it's...
I can see why she has no patience for that,
It's
but
super
that
annoying.
looks like so much fun. I might order one.
It is really
This isn't
fun.
an ad.
It is, yeah.
It's just an addiction.
It's this insane children's game that's fun for all.
Yeah. Can you lower the volume on it, or is it just on or off?
Let's see, Ryan.
Because maybe you can play it in bed.
It looks like you can mute it, which my cousin told me.
That's not as fun. I wish I had a headphone jack.
Yeah, you can turn it off, but it's actually really annoying still. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a headphone jack, dude, unfortunately, because it's for children, and children are supposed to be using headphones. Dirty AirPods. Well, dude, Big G is really on a rampage these days, bro. You love to see it.
With what?
So his schedule has changed a bit. He is now teaching in the city on Mondays. So it's actually I'm more likely to see him now than I was before, because before he would usually come in on Tuesdays, and we record usually on Tuesdays, and therefore it could be tough for us to link up. But now we're hanging, and he is really something. So now at Sugarfish, he loves Sugarfish. Mm-hmm. We have changed his life with the Sugarfish introduction. He is loving it. He loves hitting it. And he is constantly asking for ginger when we go. I've never seen someone ask for so much ginger in my entire life.
Is he asking for more ginger now that we've talked about how much ginger that he's asked for on the podcast in the past?
This is not him leaning into it.
Okay.
Although that's a very good question, Ryan, because he is capable of that for sure. But this is just Big G needing ginger. And I think part of it, he has this like sushi complex, which I actually have a bit of it too. I've inherited a bit of this from him. As he's eating the sushi, he starts anticipating the end of the meal and how sad he's going to be. It is a thing.
Yeah.
Sushi is funny because it's like really hard to like leave full when you eat sushi. So he has this thing, this inherent fear of the meal ending, which makes him do weird shit. So one thing that he does at Sugarfish, sometimes if you order the same thing, you and I both order the nozawa, which is like its own form of an omakase where like it's coursed out for you. So you'll get like 4 pieces, a hand roll, 4 pieces, whatever. So they might not bring both of them out to you at the same time. They might only have one ready and they bring it. And what they'll do is they'll hand it to the person who's closer, or there's some method to their madness as to why they'd give it to you before they give it to me. But if my dad is sitting where they're going to give it to him first, he makes them give it to me so that he can delay the end of his meal as long as possible. And sometimes it'll be weird. Sometimes they'll have put it down and he's like, no, put it to him. And then they're like, it's like weird. And dude, it's crazy. I'm like, Dad. But look, he's paying. So like I'm not going to sit there and bitch about it. I'm like, bro, do whatever you want. You're hooking me up with sushi. Like I appreciate it. It's generous of you. I'm not going to complain, but it is what, so it's become a joke now, not only with all of us, but also with my close friends where they're like, how many gingers did Big G ask for? And last time, I think he asked 10 times.
10 times?
Yeah.
How many courses did you have though?
So it's just the nozawa. So this is what you get in the nozawa. You get edamame, or as James Bernstein used to say, the edamame. It's pretty fucking funny. Shout out to James. The edamame. Then you get a tuna sashimi and house ponzu sauce.
Okay.
Then you get 6 pieces of nigiri. It'll typically be sea bream with citrus salt, salmon with sesame, and the albacore with house ponzu. And they don't recommend adding any additional soy when it's already been sauced, but I'll still put a little on there. Okay. Then you get a toro hand roll, followed by 6 more pieces of nigiri. It'll usually be either like the sweet shrimp, sea bass, the otoro, and it changes a little bit more than the first course. So there's a possibility of a few different things happening there. And then you get a crab hand roll, and that's the end. We'll get tea at the beginning too. And throughout this time, he will get 10 small plates of ginger. Now he's gotten to the point where he's learning ways to adapt where it's not as obvious what he's doing. So now he's become friends with one of the guys. There's this guy with the dangly earring. It's his boy. He's like, oh, you're the man. He goes, you're the man. And the guy likes it. He's taken to it. He's like, you're funny. This guy's funny. And my dad also will talk to everybody in the restaurant, which is just like not a New York City thing to do, but it's like a sweet thing. It's sweet that he does it. It's cute. I think it's a nice thing about him. So he overheard some guy talking and he thought that he heard the guy say, I come to Sugarfish every day. The guy didn't say that, but my dad goes, you go to Sugarfish every day? He's like, oh man, I'm jealous. It's the best. And the guy's like, oh no, I don't come here every day. Actually, I'm visiting from Chicago, but when I come here, I like to go. I've been to the one in LA too. My dad goes, they have it in LA? He looks at me, he goes, have you been to one in LA? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh my God. Like, it's just, dude, it's very cute.
It's so cute.
It's funny. And so like everybody is now starting to love him. So they know that the ginger man has come. The gingerbread man has come to collect, and they set him up. So right out of the gate, he's getting ginger. He gets 3. And now they give me 3 because they just associate me with him. I don't need 3.
So
now I slide him 1. He likes to sit at the bar because all the gingers are right there at the bar. If you're at a table, they have to walk to the bar to get the ginger and bring it to you. If they're already at the bar, it's much easier for them to give it to you. Less likelihood of him being annoying. Plus a bunch of waiters are walking so he can ask different people. So they're not monitoring how much ginger he's asking for. So it's enabled an environment where this man is just sucking down ginger to the point where I'm worried next time I see him, he's just going to look like a fucking ginger root. They look like a kind of rotten starfish. But dude, yeah, he is just on fire.
Remind me, does he like the taste of ginger or does he like cleansing his palate?
I think that it's a combination of things. I think he likes the palate cleansing. I think he likes the ginger. And I also think that if the more ginger he eats, the more likely he is to be satisfied when the meal is over.
I love it.
The anticipation of the end of the meal. It's a real thing, guys.
That is sad.
I feel
Especially
it
when
too.
you know how much is coming.
Totally. I feel it too. And it's tough with sushi because sometimes, dude, I understand. So like if I have a snack before I actually go to sushi, this is like fat person behavior, but whatever. Sometimes I'm like, okay, if I have a snack, like I'll be fully satisfied by the sushi itself. But there's nothing worse than going for sushi when you're too full. So I think I'd rather just like, and plus, dude, like your brain takes a while to know you're full type shit. So like at the end of the day, we all should be practicing leaving meals not feeling stuffed. You don't want to float away like the fucking Goodyear blimp and have 7 guys needing to hold you down by ropes.
That's good. Yeah, when you walk out, my experience having sushi before, the last like 4 or 5 years was always exclusively all you can eat. And that's a completely
all you can eat sushi.
All you can eat
Where?
sushi.
In New Jersey?
In New Jersey, there were a bunch of spots by where I went to school, and we would do all you can eat. It's like $35, and it was all you can eat, and you walk out feeling like garbage.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different experience from having like sushi made with love at a place like Sugarfish,
Right, like
and walking
high-end
out
sushi,
and being, maybe wanting a little bit more. It's a better feeling than walking out feeling like you want to die.
Yeah, you need
Have you done all you can eat sushi before?
I have. You need to adjust your ordering if you're eating like lower level sushi. Like there's things that those places do well. You know what I mean? Like rolls that involve tempura or like fried stuff or like basic rolls. Those places tend to do really well. But then if you're going for like pieces of sushi, once you've had like higher end sushi, that becomes less appealing in my opinion. But I'll still eat it for sure. Yeah. The all you can eat sushi is funny because I don't know if this is the case at your place, but if you over order, you get charged extra.
As in, like, you don't eat everything that you order? Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
Which is funny because then at the end of the meal,
rule.
I'm like dying. I'm like stuffing California rolls in my pockets. Like, fuck, I don't want to get. But all you can eat sushi is fun.
It is fun. That's
and it solves the problem
of what? Not
of like feeling afraid of the meal ending because you get to just order whatever the fuck you want.
You should pull a little micro prank on Big G and suggest that you go to an all-you-can-eat sushi place next time instead of Sugarfish and be very serious about it and see if he would be down for that.
Wait, but why but he would just think that was great.
But he always loves Sugarfish.
Okay, so he loves Sugarfish, but he likes value.
Oh, okay.
He loves value.
And so then...
And, bro, he still rips Japanica 2. Shout out to Japanica 2. Fine sushi establishment where we live in Connecticut, or where my family lives, Middletown, Connecticut. And he can still eat all sorts of sushi. It's not that now he's tasted kind of like a different type and now he can't go back. He's able to do it all still.
Man of the people still.
I think he would like he likes all forms of sushi.
Yeah.
He'd love the all you can eat. He'd go, oh man, this rules.
Yeah.
All you can eat.
I do love the challenge of the all you can eat sushi.
Yeah.
I have gone and we've had friends that have over ordered and they would, so it's not nice, but they would literally put some in their shirt, go to the bathroom, and flush it down.
That's fucked up.
Which is very not nice.
That's fucked up.
But
it's young person behavior.
Yeah. But also, yeah, there is something fun, big group, all you can eat sushi. They do treat you like the service is not good.
Really?
From my experience, I've been to like 4 or 5 of them, and I don't blame them. It's just like, I want all this. Give it to me now.
Deal with like,
we need more. You order your appetizers, then you order your sushi, then you get dessert, and then you stick around a little longer, and then you order more appetizers.
You can do that?
You can do that. You can do that, but then they stop walking by. They make sure to avoid you.
It's like the New Year's Eve open bar.
Yes,
they know that you're going to get full.
Yeah,
in this situation at least.
Yeah, and it's so inconsistent. There was a time I went with my brother a couple years ago. We wanted to be courteous, so we did everything that we wanted, and it was a big order. It was everything that we wanted. We handed it in. Super busy night. We see the woman walk by with our tray of food. We just knew it was ours because we waited for a while, and there was a new table next to us that sat 30 minutes after, and she like looked and she pivoted. And I didn't notice until after she made her decision. No. And she gave it to the group of boys that were right across, a bunch of high school fucks. And I was like making eye contact with them. And I was going to be like, you guys know that's not your sushi, right? I didn't say it, but I was thinking. And they totally could see me thinking it.
Did they know?
They were like, they originally were like, oh, we okay, cool.
Like, yeah, they were probably just trying to drink underage.
Yeah, with the BYOB roll. And then they just ate our sushi. And then I had to get up and get someone's attention. Like, hey, we never got our sushi. I didn't throw it under the bus, but like, that was fucked up.
And then did you eventually get it?
Eventually.
That
but
sucks,
I mean, it took like an hour.
Did you have to reorder? Did you have to redo the paper?
We started talking, and then she was like, she didn't want to hear it. She just gave us another piece of paper, and we were like, all right, well, this is what you get for $35. So we made sure we got our money's worth. So Sugarfish, great service.
Yeah.
They opened one up in Williamsburg, and we went. I've been to Sugarfish once. It was awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, I love it there.
As Andrew Schultz says, best deal in town. For what you get and the price, it's like half of the price point of like a traditional sort of sit down omakase, and it's like it rules. So, but this is funny. I took my dad. So each time I took him to Sugarfish for the first time for his birthday or something, and he started trying to order shit, and I'm like, this isn't how it works here. He's like, all right, well, I don't want that. I'm like, just trust me. He's like, do you guys have this? I'm like, Dad, stop. Like, they don't have that. Just let me. I don't like hand rolls, dude. And each step, he's like, oh my God. He like blew him away. So they have a sister restaurant that's called Kazunori. It's a hand roll bar. Only have hand rolls. It's different, but it's really, really good. And like, he's like, I don't like hand rolls. I don't like hand rolls.
What is it called?
Kazunori. There's a bunch of locations as well. I finally take him there. I loved it. He's like, oh my God. He's taking bite. Then he's doing the same shit. You the man to the people. And they're loving it. So, you know.
I wish I could experience something that makes me go, oh my God.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. And just, it must be awesome sitting there watching your dad like befriend an entire restaurant.
Yeah, it's good when it works out.
It's a nice feeling.
It's nice. We went to an Italian restaurant last week, actually. I don't know why he felt the need to do this, but like one of the kind of waitresses walks by and he decided to be like, where are you from? I think she maybe said one word to us and maybe had I don't even know. I don't think she'd even talked to us. He just thought, he's like, where are you from? And before she could even answer, he just goes, Argentina. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why? Like, and then she's like, nah, she's like, I'm Albanian. I'm like, bro, you couldn't have been further off. You were 8,000 miles off or whatever. I'm sure it's not that far. I bet you, let's see. Can we look this up? I'm going to guess
Albania to Argentina?
6,950 miles is my guess. The direct, if you're flying directly there, since there's obviously no direct route, since there is multiple oceans. Well, I guess just one ocean in between.
What did you say?
6,950 miles.
You're within 1,000. 7,608.
What did I say that the first time? I forget what I said. I said 8,000 the first time.
Yeah, you said something really close the first time.
Whatever. But anyway, I'm like, Dad, like what? Why didn't you just wait for her to answer? Why did you have to ask and then answer your own question with a prediction?
With a prediction. Yeah.
I know I sometimes do that too, but if there's no way to tell where the person's from, why? You're bordering on saying things that people get upset by. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she was fine with it. And then he starts going, do you think she's from Trapoya? I'm like, Dad, if you bring up Taken right now, I'm going to short circuit.
Did it sound like you wanted to bring it up?
Dude, if you guys have seen the movie Taken, there's that thing with Marco from Trapoya is the bad guy in the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a movie about this dude's daughter gets kidnapped on a Euro trip. And he's like 65 years old at the time. He arrives to Albania, 65 years old, and destroys the entire country by himself. Kills everybody and saves his daughter. It's an amazing movie. But it's
one of the most quotable movies.
Far-fetched,
yeah,
to say the least.
Didn't they make 3 of them?
They may have even made more. But it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. But it's sad that our biggest action star during that era was a senior citizen. So it's a dying genre. Like baby boomer guys being like, oh my God, just having a fucking hard on for action stars. Anyway, so he's like, oh, Trapoya. He's considering asking her where she's from. And then he's like, well, he goes, my cousin's girlfriend is from there. So I'm like, okay, fine. Go ahead, dude.
Nice.
So then he's like, where are you from in Albania? I'm like, thank you. And she's like, Tirana, which is like the capital, which would have been a good guess, which is also a pet peeve of mine too. When somebody goes, where are you from? And then they name the only place they've heard of. Like they know Tirana is the capital of Albania. They're like, oh, you're from Tirana. Are you from Albania? Are you from Tirana? Like as to show that you know stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying.
Like you're from America. Do you live in New York? Something like that.
Exactly. It would be. It's not I guess
It's
worse.
the gist.
Yes, it's worse the other way around because if it's like a place that's slightly less well known, to know the capital just doesn't like it's annoying. It shows that you like are extra and know extra stuff and like you're being annoying.
You're from Bolivia? Where do you live? La Paz?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Way to pull that one out. Highest altitude capital city in the world, by the way.
Interesting.
I'm just now doing what I'm accusing people of doing and being annoying. But no, not quite as annoying. Anyway, so then it turns into this whole discussion, and naturally, he ends up winning her over too, dude. She's like, oh,
You got that sauce.
He's like, oh, he didn't just say, are you from Tirapoya? He said, my cousin's girlfriend is from Tirapoya. So it didn't just sound like a blatant Taken reference.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, no, Tirapoya, no, what do you do there in Tirapoya? He said, no, like, and then he's like, oh, I hear my son tells me that the beaches are nice in Albania. And then I'm like, I'm looped into this. And, the whole time I'm like, kind of like, and then it ends up being this great conversation. And then I'm like, I guess maybe my instincts are wrong, dude. Maybe it's fine. Big G's way is the way, potentially.
I feel like more often than not, it usually ends up pretty positive.
It ends up working out for him.
That's pretty magical.
And it just goes to show. I think we talked about this on the last episode, but if you have good intentions and you're being a nice person, you can get away with more.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be well-intentioned. If you have sort of like ulterior motives or you're throwing shade on purpose, we can sniff it out.
Chris Davis.
Former Baltimore Oriole. Yes.
He used to hit bomb after bomb after bomb out of the park. He was so good at laying the pipe that he got a massive contract. And guess what happened after?
What?
He went on a 54 hitless streak.
Jeez.
Swing and a miss. The most confident guy. A guy whose bat was always just full and bursting and pulsing with energy. Couldn't get the job done. He just couldn't make contact.
I like where you're going with this.
And he didn't know why. And that's why if you're having any tough times in the bedroom, you shouldn't feel bad about it because one of the best baseball players struggled to perform.
Yeah.
If you're having a tough time getting your bat to cork in the bedroom, you can use some assistance. And guess what? Nobody's going to judge you for that.
Yeah, right. Pine tar isn't illegal in the bedroom, folks.
Not at all. And that's why we partnered up with Joy Mode.
That's right. And it doesn't matter about the scouting
Save
report.
me.
It doesn't matter about the scouting report. If we all know you can't hit cutters inside, if you take the right stuff, you can. Any pitch that comes at you that's in the strike zone, you'll be knocking out the park again like you're a young buck playing in Babe Ruth League with no pressure whatsoever.
None.
And you're ready to do your finest work. And look, it was Valentine's Day last night. I'm sure there's a couple of you out there who had a tough night. And for whatever reason, you just couldn't get it cooking. And it was awkward. Babe, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm just like, I actually don't feel that good from the pasta. But you know that that's not true. You know the pasta didn't do anything to your tummy.
You don't have a dairy issue.
You took your lactate pills. It's not the tummy that's wrong. It's something slightly farther south.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're losing a step or whatever. Sometimes we have cold streaks, and that's why Joy Mode is here to take you out of it. What if there was an all-natural and science-backed supplement dedicated to helping men perform their best across their core functions, including sexual performance? Joy Mode, their trademark product, is a sexual performance booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine, nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax, ginseng, and vitamin C. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. I don't know about you, but there's no reason to go back to prescription or over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. Go to usejoymode.com/oops and get 20% off with code OOPS at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping with code OOPS at usejoymode.com/oops. Great sex solved naturally. So dude, I promised that we would go into this email on the last episode, so we should do it here. The email is titled Flights and Travel. If you listen to the last episode, we sort of decided that we maybe would start a pod-wide competition for who is flying the most. Who is the guy or the girl in the sky this year, or whatever you identify as in this modern landscape of gender fluidity. So this is from our friend Alair. Happy New Year, Ryan and Giulio. I've been an Oops listener since day one. I love Ryan becoming a bigger part of the pod.
Thank you.
I was thinking about Giulio and Francis's flight competition and how it should not only be the two of them, but become a pod-wide contest. This was his idea, by the way, everybody. I know I brought it up on the last episode. I believe I mentioned that it had been talked about in an email. But anyway, he goes, I unfortunately only made it to 27 flights in 2023. That's pretty fucking good. If you're flying in the 20s flights, you're flying a lot.
How many?
That 27, I mean, that's over 2 a month. That's good flying. Some good flying. But as I'm writing this email on January 10th, 2024, and I'm starting the year strong with 7 flights and 2 new countries, I've always loved traveling, but I've never been inspired to become a solo traveler until listening to Giulio's accounts.
Oh, wow.
Happy to hear that, my boy. As my time in the Air Force has come to an end and I have nowhere to be until I start college in August, I've set a goal of visiting 24 new countries in 2024. How fucking fun, dude. Let me get to the point. I do actually have 2 questions. How do you feel about going to Myanmar right now? Most people I talk to about it seem very worried about the political instability, but it seems doable to me, but you would know better than me. So I guess let's tackle that question first. I don't know. So this is not advice, but with what I do know, here's what I will say. Political instability, okay. I know there is this stuff happening with the Rohingya, which I think is in the northwest of the country. There's some stuff going on that's controversial as far as trying to sort of get them out of the country. Some people have been ringing the ethnic cleansing bell. It's ugly up there for sure. It's a big country. I think if you wanted to visit, you could probably do it. I think it's doable. I think it's cheap. And I think it's one of those places where as a visitor, it doesn't seem like it would be dangerous to visit. It seems dangerous if you are a specific type of ethnic group or if you are in a particular political party, etc. And, you know, by going there, you may be waiving certain rights, which is what my dad always likes to say. When you go to these places, you sort of don't have as many rights as you typically do. Having said all of that, on the surface, to me, it seems doable. I would definitely do more research, and I would talk to people who have done the trip recently or guides who work there. That's usually my due diligence process to figure out if a place is safe or worth going to. And, you know, you don't want to support a corrupt regime either a lot of the time. So if there's no way to kind of separate those two things, listen, you can kind of think about what you want to do. I'm sort of like a public person, so I need to consider a lot of this stuff because I don't want to do distasteful shit. But look, you know, the people who live there didn't do anything. Presumably, a lot of them, the innocent civilians in a place are typically really nice people. And if you think the trip is doable, then you should do it. I don't know if did that make sense to you, Lynch?
Yeah, that was pretty concise.
Was that fair?
Yeah, that's good feedback.
I appreciate it. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I have nothing to add to that. But it's good that we have Giulio. Giulio is the perfect person to ask that question.
Yeah. And you know, knowing what you know about me, obviously I'm the person theoretically to ask this to, but yeah, I would say look into it. And I usually do a pretty deep dive into sort of learning about people's travels to that place in the recent past. So I'll find accounts from like the week before or people who are literally there right now. Because in places like this with political instability or whatever, things can change kind of rapidly, unfortunately. So you don't want to be caught in some sort of coup or or like widespread political violence or anything, you know what I mean? So, and you have to feel for the people who live in these places that go through that in their everyday lives. It's not something to be taken lightly, and I certainly do not take it lightly, but I love to enjoy other cultures and visit them if I can. So,
aren't there Facebook pages?
There are. So, by the way, for people who don't know about what Myanmar is, it used to be called Burma when it was kind of under British rule. It's in South Asia, sort of borders Nepal, and I think I want to say I can't fully pin the geography, but it's like in that whole Southeast Asia area. So it's like right next to Nepal, and I'm not sure culturally if it's similar or what the deal is, but it's been there for a while, and now it goes by Myanmar, presumably since their independence. So that's the deal. 2, I know you've talked about it before, but how do you go about finding local guides? Are there any Facebook groups you recommend for it? Shoot me a message. I'll send you the place to use. I don't want to put it on blast because there's like an approval process. So you need to like apply to the group in order to be accepted, and why you'd be a good fit for it. So I don't want to put it on blast. So message me. Finally, please see attached photo of me rocking some Oops merch in Pokhara, Nepal. Let's go. At a statue of Shiva in the foothills of the Himalayas, and my cousin and me a little after sunrise. If you ever plan to do a Nepal trip and want a guide, my cousin there would be more than happy to set you up. Thank you, man. This rules. He also said, for shits and giggles, 25, single, looking for a travel partner. So check him out at ALAIRE_travels on Instagram. If there are any ladies who think that this guy sounds like he's up your alley, we'll throw a couple of these pics up of him too, including the one of him rocking the 1-800-OOPS, 1-800-212-OOPS, don't be a turkey tee in Nepal. So looking good, my man. Good luck out there. Safe travels and enjoy. Hope you have some great adventures and you have some stuff to tell us about. This is the year where we get out there, folks. I floated to Hillary because Hillary like wants to travel for tennis. Like we put in for Wimbledon tickets this year. You know, if we win the lotto, we'll see if like you can get them for face value. She wants to go to Roland Garros. Hill Dog is a huge tennis fan. And not in a way where they're like, who do you like? And she's just like, I like Federer. Like she knows all the players, dude. Hillary probably knows every single player in the top 100.
I came to set up one time. You guys were both very into whatever matchup you were watching.
She's a huge Yannick Sinner fan. I know he just won the Australian Open, but she's known about him since he was 18. Been a big fan. Like Hill Dog knows about tennis. So I pitched the Saudi Arabia thing, and she's like, honey, this is like a couple weeks before we get married. Like, I don't think I'm going to have time to go to Saudi Arabia. Thanks. I love you, but sorry. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. But it made me realize, like, I'm getting married soon, bro.
Yeah. Crazy.
I've been starting to think about who I'm going to ask to speak and shit.
What stage are you guys in right now?
So, like, we are planning the little knickknacks now. Like, the stuff that's going to make it as good as it can possibly be, which I'm not very involved in any of that still. But, you know, venues are locked in, schedules are locked in. Invites will start coming out. It's save the dates will start coming out at some point in the future, in the next couple of months. I guess I don't really know. But I guess our main focus is like moving, I guess. But now I'm starting to think about the little stuff. It's like, who are we going to ask to do these little different tasks? So like, you know, we want this person to speak. When's the best suited time for them to speak so that they can shine the best? Like, what's the pecking order? Who's going to speak when? Who's going to do what? Who's going to be the ushers? Who's going to be the MC of the speeches? When are we going to do the speeches? Like little shit like that. And also, you know, we have to get a DJ still for whenever we need a DJ. I don't know the specifics on that. But we're gearing it all up and getting ready to rip because, you know, less than a year away now. And it's tough to look forward because of how time intensive what we are trying to do with our lives is. It requires a lot of like focus in the moment as opposed to thinking about what you're going to do later. You need to like execute now. So it's hard to even think about moving. Like I'm moving soon. My dad was like, it's a couple weeks away. I'm like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. He's like, are you serious? I'm like,
not until the special's done.
He's like, you're moving. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. Forgot. Mm-hmm. You know?
Does Hillary have any help with like, do you have like a wedding planner or any assistance like that?
I think so.
Does she want you to help out at all? Yeah. Or is she like excited that she gets to figure everything out?
So this is what I think. And Hill, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this. I think she wants me to help out. She wants me to have opinions. If she asks me something, she wants me to be like aware of what's going on. And in theory, if she needed help, she would want me to be there. However, if I am lacking in any of those categories, whereas I need to be told about stuff, or I don't understand something, or I don't know about a specific role or responsibility or the flowers or whatever, she prefers that over me being too involved and fighting her on stuff. If she's like, I want to do this. If I were to be like, no, absolutely. White flowers, like absolutely not. Like, I don't even know if that's the thing. But like, if it were to be like that, she would hate that. So I think she prefers getting to like plan it herself. She's good at planning stuff. Hillary's very talented, bro. She is very competent. She's amazing. She does a few different things in a way where it could be her actual job. I think she could be a stylist as a job. I think she could be an event planner as a job. She's very, very good at a lot of stuff. So that's the other thing too. It's nice to not have to worry, will Hill get it wrong? I know that without even making a single decision, I know she's making decisions at a level that I am nowhere near. So me like clearing stuff is completely unnecessary because my brain isn't even quite there to think of the things that she's thinking about.
That's impressive.
You know?
Is there anything that you're like, I need this, I want this at our wedding? A hard requirement for Giulio.
I mean, in a perfect world, and again, this is not a perfect world, so I'm willing to part with this if I have to, but I would like to not have to skimp on invites because it's unpleasant knowing that like I hurt someone's feelings and people are like, well, fuck them. They're like, it's your wedding. Like, it's your night. Like, you're not worried about other people, but that's not true. I am. Like, I want to throw a fun, good thing for my friends and family and people who I love and people who I fuck with. And like, I want them all to have a good time. Like, them having a good time dictates that I have a good time. It's not just about me. It's not like, okay, this is my fucking day, bitch. Sorry, you're going to sit there and watch me do whatever I want. And you're going to have to because it's my fucking day. I don't want it to be like that. So the thought of that is giving me anxiety. And when I even bring that up, bro, people get mad at me. They're like, dude, like it's you, like, don't think about that.
Gotta be selfish.
Yeah, I'm like, no, like I don't. Like I want to have a great big thing that everybody gets to come to and have fun at. Is that so wrong?
What about the music? Have you played around with the playlist or anything?
One thing I've done, Hillary has started putting together a list of songs that we think are really fun for like that sort of setting. Mm-hmm. So anytime I hear one, I'll like throw it on the list. Like
that's nice.
I was hanging with our boy PD the other night, and he was ripping this like ABBA playlist that was like amazing. Mm-hmm. And I was like taking a couple and shooting them there. And she's like, "Are you guys listening to ABBA right now?" And I was like, "That is exactly right.
ABBA slaps.
ABBA slaps.
ABBA slaps."
So we're sort of like loosely compiling all of that. And I need to start thinking about what I'm going to say if we're like doing some sort of vow exchange. I've like kind of started writing down little stuff, but my brain isn't like focused on it yet. But I want to make sure I give it enough time that I don't leave anything out because I want it to be perfect on my special day.
Big day.
You know?
Yeah. That's great, dude.
I wonder if I'm going to get emotional.
Do you think you are?
I'm not really like a public emoter.
Yeah, I know about the things that you'll like. It's an emotional day.
I know.
It's a bucket list day.
But I like, there's a picture of me at Ricky's wedding when I was officiating where like I'm presumably wiping a tear.
Were you?
I don't even know, bro. I think I was maybe, but like it's too embarrassing. Like
how do you not remember if you got emotional?
I'm just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about it. I'm embarrassed even talking about it now. And they are like, oh look like that. Everybody. It's a nice picture, I guess, but like it makes me embarrassed. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of like, I don't know that I want that picture to be remade. So even if I'm already reluctant for public tears for myself as it is, unless I was like winning a Grand Slam or something, in which case like I wouldn't want to have a boring celebration. I'd be like cry into a towel maybe or something. But I want to try to hold it together because everyone's going to be looking at me.
Yeah.
And I know I'm used to that, but getting all like emotional and shit, I don't know. It's going to stress me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see some videos where the men are standing at the altar and they like break down crying. And like
I always knew.
Yeah. And like there's parts of that that's like super like, oh my God. But like at the same time it's like, dude, pussy.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel embarrassed. So, but who knows, bro? Maybe I'll be overwhelmed.
You just have to find out.
It's gonna be really fun though. I'm really pumped about it.
That's awesome. How do you ask for the check?
When the check's ready?
Yeah.
This is a funny one. So, would you like to first?
No, I want to hear yours first.
Okay. So what I'll do is I try to just make eye contact with the person. So if I see them and like I'm trying to get their attention, like in a perfect world, they're there and they're like, just the check? And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like at the exact time where I was about to think of it. Mm-hmm. That's the best scenario. But there's a couple things that you can do if that's not the case. So if the person's far away, you don't want to be annoying. You don't want to hail them down. Taxi!
No noises, no snapping.
No snapping. You don't want to do
It's
anything.
so rude.
But so what I'll do sometimes is I'll lean and look. And if they see, I'll lean in a way. And if hopefully they'll see me, and then they know what I'm doing. And then before I even have to do the check motion, they're like, they know, and they go, and then it's over. If they don't know, I don't mind if they're like, and they're sort of like, oh, is there, before it turns into a thing where they rush over. I don't want them to rush over to just have to go back to get the check. I'll be like, I'll do the pen motion, which I don't feel bad about. But I have a friend, and he's super polite. He's super polite, this guy. Like, this guy could be the president. He's one of my best friends. What a great guy. Everybody loves this fucking guy. He's the greatest guy in the world, potentially. But he does this thing when he gets the waiter's attention that's funny. And he's a big guy, so it makes it even funnier. And I think he's seen his mom do it, which is why he does it. But he does this thing where he like raises his hand delicately to try to get their attention. He goes, bro, it's the craziest fucking thing in the world. Right?
So cute.
And I think his mom does it a bit more like,
that looks Nazi.
a little more Nazi. Like, not quite, but she will fucking stick it up and like, and look, these people are like a little fancy too. So like you can get away with more hailing when you're in like a fancy ass place where you're like spending a fuck ton of money. It's kind of a cliche. But so he, the little hand. And I'm like, bro, the little hand. And then he's 6'5", this guy, bro. 6'5", 220 probably. Insane. So what do you do?
Interesting. No, I love that. That's the great way to go about it. I tend to do pretty much the same thing that you do. Like the lean out. The lean out's big because in their peripherals as a waiter, you know, your head's on a swivel all the time. So
you see someone leaning in irregularly.
Yeah, you see them. They're in your way. Make eye contact. I do what you do, where you kind of look at them and I kind of nod my head too, just like, here I am, ready to ask. But like on your own time. But there was a time I went out for brunch a few weeks ago, and it was just so busy, and we had a tough time getting our waiter's attention. It wasn't like a problem.
Was it in Williamsburg?
Yeah, it was in Williamsburg. It wasn't like an issue. We weren't talking about it. It just was like, I could tell everyone was ready to stop. Vic and I had some errands to run, and it seemed like no one was paying attention to that. And so I was trying to get the server's attention, swing and a miss on the first attempt, swing and a miss on the second attempt. And he walked by a third time, and not in a rude way. I gave a very firm, excuse me.
I think that's perfectly fine.
And he turned around right away, and he came over, and we got the check and everything. And my friend Taylor, who was sitting next to us, she looked at me and she said, "That was a really firm excuse me."
Very alpha, bro.
Yeah, but like very polite. It was just, excuse me.
Very bad. Yeah, good for you.
And that's it.
Good for you, dude.
So I never do the hand thing. That seems to be a newer thing, and people lean into, to me that seems to be a newer thing. But just asking for the check, like, I don't know, it's just a fun thing. Very
dude,
alpha.
Agreed. Low key, like a bitch move. Like guys, you all know that we don't do this on this podcast. I don't talk about what men should be doing, but we have talked about certain things that are manly. One of them being able to roll a joint. Number 2, stick shift. There's a few of these little things.
Manly.
Being handy, it's manly, and it's hot to be manly. Sorry, it just is. And maybe manly is the wrong word, but there are certain
alpha.
There are certain words. Sorry, there are certain qualities that are just attractive. Like being able to handle shit is hot, dude. I'm sorry. Like I'm sure like a lot of women would agree with this. So I will say this, and this adds nicely to this part of the conversation. Not being able to get the waiter's attention is like a little bit of a bitch move as a guy.
Oh yeah.
If your girl's like, can you get his attention? And you're like, I can't. He didn't see me. He didn't see me. And then they're like, okay, excuse me. And then your girl has to do that.
Like, yo,
bro, you do not want to be there. If your girl says get the bill, bro, you be a good boy and get that bill.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You make it happen. Even if you gotta fucking rustle some feathers, fuck that waiter, bro.
Yeah.
If it's you or him, you all day.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we both can't eat.
Yeah, you do it for her.
That's right.
So she knows.
That's right,
That
bro.
you're polite and you get the check.
But okay, this reminded me of something. So there's Hillary, my love of my life. When it comes to food,
I love a good preface.
When it comes to food, she has really hilarious shortcomings. Everybody in her family knows about most of these too. There are 3 things that she does that are all insane to me. First of all, she just simply can't decide what to get, ever. And it turns into this thing where it's like there's so much pressure. She ends up like ordering the wrong thing and then hating it after she deliberated for like 5 hours about what to get, and then she ends up with something that disappoints her. And it's hard because like her disappointment is palpable and I experience it for her, so I don't want it for her. So it upsets me too. So that's one thing that she does. And then sometimes like I'll order something and it'll suck and I'll be like, oh, this sucks, and she'll be like, see, like this is what I go through every day. I'm like, no, not see. I'm much more decisive when it comes to picking something to eat. Another manly thing, being decisive.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, bro. Then so that's not like a pet peeve. That's more hard for her, but it like washes off on me a bit. This is a pet peeve though, and a lot of people have this pet peeve about her. Sorry, Hill, I love you. But when the waiter gets there, she will like not be able to decide what to order, and they're just standing there, and she's like, So I'm torn. She like starts like she starts giving backstory. She's like, okay, so the interesting thing about me, it's like, bro, we don't give a fuck about you. No offense. We love you, but we don't care about the interesting thing about you. She's going to hear this and go, rude. But it's like, just fucking decide. He's standing there. Do you need a couple more minutes? And she'd be like, no. I'm like, we need a couple more minutes, dude. Like, are you serious? And she's like, I'm like, all right, bro, whatever.
I get that. That's infuriating.
Love you, Hill, but you do that. The other thing she does, this is just something that blows my mind. The food will arrive. So say we've ordered food into the apartment. The food arrives. It's there. The food is ready. She will just let it sit there for like 5 minutes and like do other stuff. Like there's no urgency to her to eat. When the food comes, I'm just like, I become a wild dog, dude. I want it immediately. Like so much so that I don't even want to put it in a normal plate. If I sit down with the food and I don't even have a fork, I'll fucking, I might as well start eating it with my hands. That's how fast I'm about to eat it. She regularly will be like, put it down. She goes and looks at something. She goes on her phone. She fills up her water. She goes in the bedroom to do something that doesn't need to be done right away. And it blows my mind. And it's probably why I'm a person who typically is in the overweight category and she is not. Maybe I need to adapt that a bit more.
I'm the inverse. I'm more like Hillary in that case. I take my time.
Explain it to me.
I don't know. My brain's just all over the place all the time. And I don't know if that's how Hillary is, but I'm just not ready till I sit down and I have everything. I take my time, get the paper towels.
Okay, but that's not what she's doing. She's not preparing for the meal. She's just doing other stuff. So the food has come, but what you're saying is like you want to prepare the meal. So the food's there, but once the food arrives, do you start preparing specifically for the meal, or will you do other stuff that has nothing to do with the meal?
I'll start doing other stuff. I'll get up. I'll sit down. I feel bad. I sit down.
What do you mean you feel bad?
Well, because it's annoying. I sit down. We're about to eat.
It isn't annoying.
I get up.
This is just a trait you have.
Then I get up, and then I get the hot pepper, like the red pepper flakes, and then I sit back down, and then I grab my Yeti, and then I realize that it's empty. I open the fridge, and then the Brita isn't full, so then I take the Brita out, and then I fill up the Brita, and then I fill my Yeti, and then I put the Brita back, and then I sit down, and then I don't have a fork, and then I get back up, and then I get a napkin, and then I sit back down, and then I never got a fork, so then I get back up. So it takes me a while.
That's annoying. I understand. If she's sitting there and she wants to eat.
That's just your truth, Ryan.
No, I'm just saying it's annoying for your partner. I don't give a fuck. But it's annoying for Vic because she's sitting there. She wants to eat dinner, but she can't because you keep forgetting shit. But she should just start. Once you've sat down, she gets to start, is how I see it. But Hill Dog somehow is not preoccupied by the food. It's almost like a superpower. Like, dude, once I know that food's coming, like when it arrives, when I hear my bell ring and the food's there, like there's probably nothing that gives me much more excitement than that. That's one of the greatest moments of my day when I hear that bell.
Because it takes so long.
I tear it open and I want to just rip it to shreds. So it's incredible to me that she's able to resist.
That's good. I have a couple more for Vic. She gets infuriated when there's an appetizer and there's a leftover wing and there's just one wing left and no one takes it because everyone's trying to be polite. And she calls out the table every single time. And then she's like, somebody take it, please.
That's motherly of her.
Yeah, she'll do that. And then another thing that's
What if it's just you and her?
if it's just me and her, I'll just eat it.
Does she expect that you're going to eat the last one?
I'll offer, but I never mean it. I always offer. I'm like, would you like the last one? As I'm going for it. But another thing that she does, here's an example of something that sucks. We'll be at like a Shake Shack. We'll at a burger place. I ask for a burger with everything on it except cheese, and then she asks for a cheeseburger, and then we both get burgers with no cheese on it.
Ooh.
Me omitting dairy negatively affects Victoria's
So
life
yeah,
a lot.
they wouldn't have made that mistake if you hadn't ordered what you ordered.
Yeah,
That's annoying.
and then another thing that's annoying is sharing meals, because that like let's get one entree and let's share an appetizer, because then you have to compromise. I'd rather just get my own meal and not get an appetizer, and then we never quite come to an agreement because I always ask, can I do this with no cheese? I've gotten used to asking it. I ask with confidence. I don't feel bad for asking that anymore, and Victoria loves cheese, and so if
girls are addicted to cheese, dude.
like
Everybody knows that.
like if we were to share a pasta like an orecchietta, and let's just say it comes with Parmesan cheese on it, like I would say, can I just do that with no cheese? We can't share that, so she gets upset when we can't share something together.
But can't
because
you cheese it after?
you can, but she doesn't like with other pastas where it's already baked in and things like
Right.
that I want to eat without the cheese.
Right. You can't. So then you can't share. Yeah, I feel that a bit because Hillary doesn't really eat meat.
Yeah.
So like, but I gain from it in ways too. So like my entree, I can order whatever if I'm going to eat meat stuff, and then for an appetizer, for example, I know that I'm going to eat more of it than her. Not only because I'm twice her size and have a bigger appetite, but also because I think that she would hate a scenario where she was eating more than me potentially. I think that's like a good gauge for her. It's like, okay, at the very least, I will eat less than him. Like, you know, that's how you can measure. So like it ends up working out in my favor, fattening me up.
That's good.
We have but this is the thing. So with the last one thing, the policy is typically I get the last one. So
You get the last one?
yeah, if there's one left, I always get it.
And that's the policy.
It's just kind of the policy. She's like, you get the last one, honey, eat it. And I might not just automatically take it, but like she's usually like, I'm done. But I know I'm learning how she is a bit. Like she'll be done, but then she might not fully be done. So it's not like I'm done. It's like, yeah, she kind of slows down, but I'm still going. Right. So I will remember like she may come back and have some more. So I'm going to like pace myself because I don't want to eat all her food, you know? Or if there's a thing that she really, really likes a lot, I will like quadruple down to see if she'll eat the last one. And last night it happened.
Really?
We found these like vegan chicken nuggets that she calls the chicken boys.
The chicken boys?
The chicken boys. So she fired up the chicken boys. We were hitting them and there was one left and I really thought that she wanted it. And she's like, you hit it, honey. And I was like, no, you hit it. She's like, hit it. I'm like, hit it. And I was like, it's the chicken boy. Like, hit it. And she's like, okay. She hit it.
And then she hit it?
She hit it.
That's alpha.
Yeah,
Insisting.
Yeah.
Persistence is alpha. That's hot, dude.
Hot.
That is...
Hot with a hard T, Lynch.
It's really hot.
Hot with a hard T.
I love that. And this past weekend, I had a relapse. A mistake was made where I consumed way too much dairy.
Wait, what do you mean a relapse? Like you tasted it and you're like, I don't care about the repercussions. I'm just going to do it.
It was an accidental overdose of dairy.
Okay. So it wasn't even, you were poisoned.
I was poisoned by my mother. My mom went out to the grocery. She went to Publix to get some ice cream and whatever. I said, I don't need anything. Don't worry about me. Victoria loves ice cream. My parents have ice cream. They like ice cream. They come back and my mom's like, oh, we got dairy-free ice cream, chocolate peanut butter. My eyebrows went up. I was like, okay, sweet. Because there's some good dairy-free ice cream by where I live, and I'm starting to, it's getting better. Gelateria.
They have good vegan stuff?
They have really good chocolate with little shreds of orange and a dark chocolate. It's like black chocolate. It's delicious. Yeah. Anyway, the dairy-free ice cream, it's here. Like it's the technology. It's been making its way and it's officially here.
Yeah. Shout out to Van Leeuwen.
Yeah, Van Leeuwen's got good. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sitting there, eyebrows raised, chocolate peanut butter, dairy-free ice cream. My mom, I'm not even looking. My mom's like, I'll make you a bowl. She puts 2 scoops into a bowl, some rainbow sprinkles, my favorite. She hands it over to me while we're sitting and watching the game. And I take one bite and I'm like, oh my God, this is delicious. And then I'm just sitting there for another minute. Victoria gets up to go get some water. And then she comes and she whispers into my ear and she's like, Ryan, she's like, it says lactose free, but it doesn't say dairy free. And I looked at the ingredients and the first thing says milk. And I was like devastated.
No.
I was devastated. I took a big bite and now I have this pimple on my chin and it's coming through, dude.
Really? And
It's
that's from
coming
that.
through.
So
It's
is
coming
that
through.
that's and that is the root of the problem with the dairy is your skin, right?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my
So the
skin.
stomach was fine though.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I wonder about that. So that's interesting because and maybe it's just for the stomach situation, but like obviously dairy, milk fucks your skin up, period. Lactose or no lactose. I wonder for my stomach if lactose free would solve any problems that I had with dairy stuff.
I think so because my brother had he had to do lactose free stuff because he always had stomach issues, and once he switched over, he was a lot better.
Ice cream is like one of the main, like mozzarella ice cream, like some of the best thing. Like, you know, bro, the amount of mozzarella I've eaten in my life is actually fucking crazy. The amount of like big, wet, soft, delicious,
watery mozzarella.
Watery
I do miss
mozzarella.
that, yeah,
I miss it too.
of some of the dairy stuff. So yeah, so now I don't feel pretty, and
You look great,
that's gonna
bro.
suck. Thank you,
You look
but
good.
I'm really sad about it.
Well, dude, speedy recovery for you and your chin.
Thank
your
you.
skin looks good otherwise, so
Thank
hopefully
you.
there won't be any more residual damage there.
Thanks.
Dairy with care, everybody. Get out there, hit the skies.
Be
spend some
confident
nice
and
time.
assertive.
Enjoy the rest of this sort of gloomy part of the year, depending on where you live. If you're in the Northeast or if you're in most of America, you know it's pretty chilly right now. So get the stuff you need to get done so you can enjoy yourself when it gets a little nicer out. And I will say, how did I miss that there's a Planet Earth 3 out?
What? 3?
Yes.
They didn't do a good job letting us know about that.
So this is what I think happened, Ryan. It comes out on the BBC, and then a year later, it comes out on Netflix, is how it's worked in the past with all of these shows when the new ones come out. And from there, the Netflix version, all of the American versions copy the things that happen in the BBC ones. The BBC ones are the best. They're the best funded. They're the this, they're the that. And I don't know how it all works. My theory is that like once they've done something, then these other places kind of play copycat and play catch up because they don't have the same funding to discover all this shit. Like the BBC like pays a fuck ton of money for this. Shout out to the British, dude, the greatest explorers in the history of the world. And it shows in their programming. So anyway, it's out. You can rent it on AMC Plus. There's like there's random places you can get it, but I don't think it's like out the way that we're used to, which is the only way I could have possibly missed it because it's my favorite show. Shout out to Timbo who alerted me, my buddy from school. And bro, it's amazing. Every episode is just shit that's never really been seen before, and shot in dramatic fashion.
I always like trip out when I'm watching it because like some of the shots are so unreal that you don't believe it, and then you start questioning whether or not it's animated.
Hillary every single time goes, "Is this real?" I'm like, bro, you know it's real.
But it's hard to tell because
But
it's so unreal.
They show the making of, and on the
I
Netflix,
haven't seen that.
So on the Netflix version, they will put it as one episode at the end, but in the BBC version, it shows it at the end of each episode, which is cool because a lot of the time, to your point, like how the fuck did they get this shot? And even in the trailer, bro, there's this one shot where they're like, it looks like they're flying among birds. It's like, how the fuck did they do this? It shows how they did it. Dude, they're in literally like a paraglider, like holding cameras shooting it. It's not some like robotic thing usually. It's usually like people doing wild shit. It's pretty incredible.
That is.
And pretty much every single thing is like something that's never been seen, sometimes with new species. It's just such a good fucking show. And I've been trying to appreciate every moment and watch it in the best possible light because it's got to be the best show out there.
Yeah, you got to give it a watch. It's so impressive, the time lapse. Like just the time lapses on those shows.
Oh yeah, like when they do the time lapse shots.
It looks like
it's
the
incredible.
camera could be rolling for years.
I know.
Because I think the first or second season took 10 years to film or something like that.
Yeah, between the first and the second.
To get out. So,
Yeah. So yeah, to your point, I thought it was only on 10-year increments too. So I was surprised to hear that there was a late 2023, because I think that the last one, I don't know when it came. Maybe it's been 10 years, bro. When did Planet Earth 2 come out? Planet Earth 2 was fucking nuts, by the way.
Planet Earth 1 came out in 2006.
Okay, so yeah. So that means Planet Earth 2 must have been 2016, right?
Planet Earth 2 came out in 2016.
So there you go.
Okay, and we're 8 years since.
Cool.
So that's pretty great.
It tracks. Yeah, there was such a big jump in quality from Planet Earth 1 to Planet Earth 2 that it was pretty remarkable. I would say less so from 2 to 3, to be honest. Like there are some obviously like unbelievable like close-up shots. There's some deep sea stuff that's pretty unbelievable. But like that jump from 06 to 16 was like it's dramatic.
And 06 was still like the best
It was sick.
anything's ever looked on TV.
I gotta rewatch those.
Cool.
They're so fucking good. Okay, well, see you tomorrow. My special taping, Chicago.
Yo.
If there's tickets, see if you can grab some. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a secondary market.
Yeah.
It's going to be really special and awesome. Lynch will be there. We'll be hanging, and we're going to knock him dead. So March 8th and March 9th, I'm in Syracuse and Albany at the Funny Bone, in that order. Come check those out. Grab some tickets. The 30th of March, I'm in Emmaus, Pennsylvania. I think I'm saying that right? Emmaus? Emmaus, Pennsylvania. The 30th, one night, a little theater there. It's going to be pretty cool. Then I am in D.C. at the Comedy Loft that next weekend, I believe. And that Sunday, I am at the Punchline in Atlanta. So come check out some of those shows. I got some more stuff coming down the pipeline. Keep your eyes peeled for my special eventually, but see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Lynch, anything else to add?
I love you.